Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Mayor Ralph Becker. I'm joined today by Mayor Mike Caldwell from Ogden and Ryan from the Salt Lake Chamber of Commerce. And we're here today to talk about some work that we have been doing collectively on our assessment of what we can do, short-term and long-term, immediate and longer-term actions that will make the biggest difference in improving air quality in our valleys. I think we all accept and know that this winter has driven home that our air quality is grossly unacceptable. For many of us, I think the inversions we've seen this winter are the worst we've experienced in a long, long time. And it is the responsibility for all of us, for local governments, for state government, for business leaders, for community members, to take additional steps to improve our air quality. We face, obviously, a unique geography here along the Wasatch Front. The same beautiful mountains that also traps our winter air. And that geography demands some extraordinary measures if we're going to tackle our bad air. The local solutions at the state level and the local level are needed today. And we're presenting some of the results of our analysis of what will make the biggest difference in improving the air quality that we have. We may not all agree on some of the approaches that we're going to be discussing today, or all of the approaches that we've been hearing about really over the last month, whether it's from the private sector, whether it's from elected officials, or whether it's from different leaders in the community. And what we're hoping today is that by presenting a number of these proposals, that it will further the dialogue and that will help push us to take meaningful action that will make a difference in our air quality. This is not a new issue for us along the Wasatch Front. For decades, air quality experts have been studying air pollution, been studying the causes of air pollution, have been studying what actions can be taken, and what actions will make the biggest difference. And so we're relying very heavily on that work in terms of what we're discussing today. And the air quality issue is not one that can be addressed through one simple solution or by one sector or by one group taking action. We are all affected by this bad air. We're all contributing to the bad air. And it's going to take all of us doing different things in our realms to make a difference. And that includes industry, that includes smaller businesses, that includes employers, that includes local governments, that includes state government, and that includes the institutions that we all work in. It also maybe includes some things that aren't quite as obvious as others. So we're going to just touch briefly on those and then be happy to try to answer questions. I want to acknowledge at the front that we have with us a number of folks who may be able to answer questions, and some people who aren't with us that we've been in discussions with that I know are working to put together their own sets of proposals. The Democrat House members about a week ago came up with a set of proposals. The environmental community, through the Physicians and Moms for Clean Air and Breathe Utah folks, have come up with a set of proposals. We are in the midst of a rulemaking at the Division of Air Quality, the Board of Air Quality, that is going to establish a whole new set of standards. Some of them have been adopted. Others are under consideration. And so there are a lot of things that are going on in some different realms. an area that's obvious and a reason that we're holding this press announcement here is with the state legislature. When the legislature's in action, obviously we all focus attention here. And I know that in addition to the House Democrats' proposals, that there are Republicans, Senator Adams and Representative Hughes are also working on legislation to address air quality. And they tell me they'll be announcing that in the next week or so. But there's some things that we know that will make a huge difference for us in terms of legislative action. The single biggest contributor, if there's one contributor to air quality, it is our vehicles, and particularly the largest contribution comes from our cold start. So when we go out in the morning, we start our cars. Until those cars get warmed up and the catalytic converters are working and all the equipment is working right, is when we are making the biggest contributions to bad air. And addressing bad starts means driving less. And it means chaining our trips together, or carpooling, or using transit, or finding alternative modes of transportation, whether that's riding your bike or walking more. And there are so many things that can be done there. But a key to that, in terms of where state legislative action will make a difference, is for us to be able to invest more in really finishing and fleshing out what is a remarkable transit system that has been developed. We have what is recognized as one of the best rail systems in the country, and it's recognized around the world what we've done over the last 10 or 12 years. But if we're going to provide the kind of convenient and accessible transit, it means that we also need to give the resources to Utah Transit Authority to finish fleshing out their system with buses. Currently, there's a cap. Most of their funding comes from a local option sales tax. There's a cap placed at the state legislative level on whether we at the local level can vote to improve funding and improve our transit service. We would like to see that cap raised. There are also a variety of other things that can be done with transit, and I think you'll be hearing shortly about some announcements about some things that will help on red air days in terms of transit passes. But that's something that will probably be announced again in the next week or so. We can look at a whole variety of other things. We can change the way we provide incentives for employers to reduce vehicular trips. Employers can do more, and you'll hear more about how employers can help reduce the number of trips, whether that's through flex time or whether that's through providing advantages for carpooling and van pooling, or whether that's providing transit passes at a reduced or no charge. There's so many things that can be done by all of us in different ways. And one of the reasons I think Mayor Caldwell and I are up here is because at the local level, we have been taking this on very seriously. In Salt Lake City, we provide free transit passes. We're converting our fleet to alternative fuel vehicles. We have LEED standards for our buildings and incentives for the private sector for their buildings. We are building out our transit system and bike system to downtown and in our neighborhoods. We've adopted an anti-idling ordinance in Salt Lake. We have changed around our land use codes so that we provide for more residential and mixed-use development around those transit corridors and transit spots. And we're looking at many more actions. The air quality this winter is being a driving force for us as well. So whether we're talking about things that we can do at the local level or at the state level that community members can do, we really believe that the legislature can provide much more funding, and we can find additional funding for travel-wise and clear the air kinds of programs to help people realize what they can do. We're looking forward to seeing us really step up what we all do to improve air quality. I know this winter, as I see the press we're getting nationally about the toxic cloud, the horrible air quality we have here, that I feel a bit embarrassed for our region. I know people, as we all do, who are suffering from asthma and other respiratory conditions. And that seems to be an increasing condition that is certainly exacerbated by our air quality. And I know people, as many folks do, who are saying, you know what, I'm going to move out of these valleys. I can't stand living here anymore. For a whole variety of reasons, whether it's our health, whether it's for economic reasons, whether it's for the quality of our life, we need to take more steps and better action than we've taken to date if we're going to address air quality. So we call on our legislature, we support the actions that are being proposed, and to have a good, healthy dialogue, and let's come out of this session with some meaningful steps. We're looking forward to the regulatory program coming down that's going to make a big difference in air quality, and we're looking forward to all of us doing our share to improve air quality. Let me just turn some time over now to Mayor Caldwell and then to our Chamber of Commerce representative to talk about some things in their communities and in their arenas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Becker. I appreciate the leadership with this and the opportunity to come down and talk about how important this is on a local level for all of us. And thinking about this, it tends to get political really fast, and when you look at what's happening, this is a red and blue issue, but it's not a partisan or political issue. It's red air days and blue skies that we all want to see and that we need as part of our quality of life in and around the Wasatch Front. Ogden and the state of Utah are internationally recognized as some of the best places in the world to play outside. We've all taken great pride in a lot of this media attention and the outdoor retailer and everything that comes with this amazing mountain to metro accessibility that we enjoy here along the Wasatch Front. But if you can't see those places and you can't go outside because the air is dangerous, all of our efforts and attention to attract and be a part of this they're all for naught. And so it's really important to us that these businesses that have relocated here and all of this effort and energy that's gone into tourism and making Utah a world-class destination continues. And we need to do that through clean air. As the population grows here, so will our air issues. Last week we were recognized, 3 of the communities along the Wasatch Front were recognized by Forbes magazine as being among the top 20 fastest growing cities in the United States: Provo, Salt Lake City, and Ogden. That's a great credit. It's a great credit to what the state's done to be attractive for our business growth and the economic engine that we've seen and enjoyed, and the employment facts that we've been a part of. We've all known that Utah's been recognized by Forbes as one of the, all 3 years running, as the one of the top economies in the nation. That, we believe, will go if this is not an attractive place for people to come and spend their lives. I ran last year on a campaign as a new mayor for Ogden on making Ogden one of the premier places to live, work, and play. We've got the play thing, we've got the live thing if we have clean air and clean water, and it's absolutely critical for us in continuing that. So it's Ogden City in the last little while, we've also been working on some of the same initiatives to address this. Our entire refuse fleet of garbage trucks and everything else have been moved to CNG. We made a big investment in that last year. Weber State has a shuttle system that is 100% CNG as well, and last year we just opened a filling station on Weber State's campus. We're both looking at moving our fleets into the CNG arena. We have alternative transportation. I see some of our friends here from UTA. We started UTA ski bus traffic to Snow Basin and Powder Mountain, 2 of our key resorts there. Last 10 days of December, we had 2,700 riders in just that 10-day period. If you talk about cold starts on those cold December mornings, that saved a lot of cold starts and a lot of vehicle miles driven in those areas. We're real proud of the support and the efforts we've had with UTA to make that possible for us as well. We've got a working committee with Weber State University, 27,000 students at Weber State University, and if they can find ways to get in and out of campus and improve the carpooling and accessibility there, that's a huge difference for our smaller community up there. So we've got some great support there. We're very excited about that. We're also looking at their on and off campus energy use and ways to do that. All of our buildings have had energy audits, and we're working towards the LEED certifications as well. We also have an idle-free week and an education program up there, and we look forward to working with the state on many of the different initiatives that are coming out from both sides. We're here, and I'm here to just encourage the robust dialogue and make sure that this gets addressed and that we are involved in finding solutions to this. My primary point would be that we're all in this together, and each individual is counted upon to make an impact. There's no magic bullet, no miracle piece of legislation or science that we believe is going to come out and take care of this. It's on us all to work together to be the change that we want to see in the community and along the Wasatch Front. So we appreciate the opportunity. We certainly support the dialogue and what's going to happen here. Appreciate the communities all coming together on the local level to work with the state on this, and the leadership from both the governor's office and the legislature will be critical, and we appreciate that. So thank you very much, Mayor Becker.
Thank you very much for having me today. Again, my name is Ryan Evans. I'm the Vice President of Business and Community Relations for the Salt Lake Chamber. Clean air is an important issue to the business community and to our state economy. Poor air quality impacts the health of our employees, it hinders corporate relocation efforts, and it puts at risk our federal highway funding. Having poor air also impacts Utah's tourism industry, one of our largest. It also subjects Utah businesses to potentially facing greater regulatory burdens from the federal government. It's important that we protect our reputation as being the best state in the nation for business. The Salt Lake Chamber applauds both Mayor Caldwell and Mayor Becker for their efforts, and other mayors across the state who have implemented clean air measures within their own communities. We also applaud the efforts of Governor Herbert, who has worked very hard to engage in this issue and has implemented steps to improve air quality. We applaud the legislature as well for their willingness to look at air quality as an economic development issue rather than some of the other issues combined, whether that's health, environment, etc. The importance of it to our economy cannot be understated. And I would also like to applaud the many business leaders throughout our community who have addressed this issue head on. Their active role in improving air quality has resulted in significant reductions in emissions. Businesses are committed to doing even more to improve the quality of air we breathe. At the Salt Lake Chamber, we have spent the last year or so really trying to collect those stories of what businesses have done, whether that's offering transit passes to employees, converting their fleets to cleaner burning vehicles, implementing no idling policies, or implementing telework policies to avoid commuters altogether where possible. We have collected some of those stories on our website, cleanairchampion.com, and we will continue not only to collect those stories, but to promote those stories amongst the business community. Clean air, however, is a shared public resource. All across our state, we must work together to improve our air quality. Individual communities and the state as a whole play an important role, and we need to work together to address this issue. We all share the responsibility to change our own behavior to improve air quality. We are making progress. Overall, our air is cleaner now than it has been in decades, but the spikes during inversions must be addressed. Improving air quality will require a combination of many efforts, both easy and difficult. Unfortunately, as has been stated, there is no single answer to this issue. Today's announcement includes a list of potential remedies. While we do not have consensus about the right remedies and policy steps, we want to be part of the conversation, and we will continue to support and provide leadership on this important issue.
Okay, Ryan, thank you. We can answer some questions if you have them, or certainly any of us, as well as I know Representative Briscoe, and we've got others here in the audience can answer questions as well. So, you know, as I mentioned before, this is an issue that is going to take effort and increased not only just attention, but action by industry, by employers, by those of us who are in government, and by individuals. And the standards that are currently in development at the Board of Air Quality substantially ratchet up the requirements on industry to reduce emissions, and actually bring in a whole new category of industry. They're called area sources. A lot of the smaller kinds of sources that before have not been regulated to achieve air quality will be brought in with these new standards. So yeah, it's going to take an effort that includes existing industries, that are currently regulated as well as new industries.
Education is going to be a huge part of this as well. Education is going to be a huge part of this as well. As we look at the universities, all the travel that goes on there in the schools, we've got to make this more comprehensive, and it's a collaborative effort. That's why it was important for us all to come together and push this. And the robust dialogue is what we're really wanting to keep driving. There's no one single answer like mentioned, but education is going to be a huge part of this in our opinion, in my opinion. The governor's reached out, and I've had robust dialogue with the lieutenant governor in a number of different occasions. I think as this continues, I've certainly felt support there, and we've felt support with the legislature as well. There are a lot of moving parts. It's a real dynamic issue, and I think it's going to take their support, but a real push on the local level as well. Like I mentioned, the educational component really needs to come from that local level. So I've had and felt great support, and I know the governor's reached out and he's got a couple of real good active working committees. So,
well, the Mayor Caldwell mentioned, and I'll state as well, I have been talking to legislators about this throughout the session on both sides of the aisle. I think, you mentioned sort of lobbyists and interests. I think the public's reaction this year to the horrible winter inversions we faced are getting not only the attention of the public, but when they call us as elected officials, it's getting our attention. And I think there is no greater force in this state than the community residents and the businesses who we hear from day in and day out as a regular topic of conversation that we've got to do more. So we applaud the public for getting involved, and representatives of the public, and encourage the public to contact legislators and say, take meaningful action. Look at the options that are out there and take meaningful action. And I was up here for 11 years, and I know that on any issue where I received a lot of public comment, it got my attention. I know from working with other legislators, when they get a lot of public comment, it gets their attention. So we want to encourage the public. We're trying to come up with our best ideas and present them, and we encourage the public to weigh in as well. We've presented a series of legislative measures. Some of them would be, most of them would require specific statutory changes. There have been other proposals coming forward, and my understanding is there will be more proposals coming forward in the next week. And we want our legislature to take more action than certainly we've seen leading up to this year. It has all of our attention. Let's really take advantage of that, of what is an unfortunate situation, and do more than we've done in the past.
I believe in the conversations I've had with the legislators too, there's a real appetite to do that. And so part of this is just to say we really support that, and we'll be a part of that dialogue, and we'll help in any way.
And if I could even add to that one too quickly, we have been invited into many conversations, and I as well feel that there is a great appetite for doing something. The questions come in, and where people get involved is what are the right things to do. It makes sense to pursue those that will have a measurable impact on air quality, and not necessarily get into the mix of the little things that will not do quite as much. We can push little issues, but it's really important to have an eye on what will actually move that needle for improving our air.
And I can tell you that is what has driven the list that we've presented today, really in working with air quality experts and in talking among ourselves, represents a list of the actions that we believe will make the biggest difference. So that's what we're encouraging. I've got to step away. I guess we can maybe end the formal part of this press conference, and individuals can be available to answer questions. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.